What's up, guys? Welcome back to RollPlay R&D, going into the second hour here. Steve, let's not waste any time. Go ahead. Take it away.
All right, so we were just making plans for what to do about Daff, who seems like he's not the most upstanding individual.
I'll tell you what, Emberly, why don't we do this? Why don't you go at least see to Bubba and get him set up in Lambo 2 so that we can leave if we need to, and let me at least just go chat with Daff and let him know about this impending crew that is coming here, just to see if we can divert his attention long enough to figure out what the hell we're going to do.
All right. I'll try it. Sure.
All right. So I want to go over to Daff and tell him about the people coming.
Yeah, okay. Are you just like walking straight over to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As I get up to him, I kind of like yell out his name as to not surprise him.
Okay. All right. You're about like 15 feet away from him. You go, "Hey, Daff!"
And as well, like, "Yo, Daff."
All right.
Daff.
And he sort of like shoulders his gun really quick and sort of like turns back around, looks at you, says, "Oh, hey, Evan. What's up?"
Well, Daff, I just, considering that you're probably one of Paradise's best marksmen, dating all the way back to when you shot out my buddy's engine when we first arrived at this place, I figured it would probably be prudent to tell you, one of the main lookouts, that, there are potentially 3-4 cars of who knows what heading this direction. Now, we just had explosions. We just had the siren going off. And yeah, I could tell by your face you're a little surprised. A, you need to know about this, and B, you might just want to go up on the tower and maybe investigate and find out if we're in danger.
Yeah, Daff's face just like, he's completely shocked. And like the girl next to him is just like, she's wearing like really scroungy, baggy clothes, and like she's got this big fucking knife belted into her belt. She's just sort of scowling at you like really sulkily. And Daff says, "Oh, whoa, what do you mean? Who's coming? Where from? Where should I go look? We need to find out about this, right?"
Yeah, I imagine we do. So, they were. I'm not sure exactly what direction they were, and that
they were from
coming,
the junk wastes.
The junk wastes. Okay,
yeah.
So can I point to that tower?
Yeah,
where
it's to the south. So you point off into the south.
The south tower. Corvette, we saw them coming this way. I'm sure we could still see their lights now, and maybe can go check it out.
Well, Daff sort of, he turns to Winkle and he says, "Hey, Winkle, we should really go check this out, don't you think? I think really should. I think we really should go check it out. That's what I was gonna say. We should." And Winkle sort of like rolls her eyes and like slumps her shoulders, and she says, "All right, Daff, you go check it out. I'm going to go hang out with some other people." And she sort of like turns her shoulder and just stalks off away from you. Evan.
So, do I have any eye contact?
Am I watching this?
Yeah, with Emberly. Do I have any eye contact with them? Can I be like...
Yeah, like I'm going to go follow,
I feel
stalk her?
I feel like you would be watching since like you were a part of the plan. So yeah.
So as she goes past me, I'm just start...
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be so.
Amberly, I think we were supposed to follow that person walking away from Evan right now.
I'm putting my hand over fucking
Bubba's mouth.
Fuck up. And I yell it twice, and Zilia, and I'm like, "Hey, you two, come here. Like, watch Bubba. Make sure he's okay." And because we're trying to like move him over to the other area, right?
Yeah.
For the truck. Yeah.
All right.
And I had to take care of something, and I'm gonna try to like sneak away. I don't know if there's a roll I have to do for that.
No, you can just sort of like, maybe you ask one of your gang members to just start like, rounding people up and distributing some of the food and supplies and whatever, and you just sort of casually walk around the other side of the crane and slip off into the ruined city of Paradise.
All right.
So who is with me now, by the way?
It's Twice and Zilia, a.k.a. Batty.
Wait, what is? Okay, we'll deal with that whenever you want to.
So, where are you trying to go, Emberly?
I'm trying to follow. Her name is Winkle,
Yeah.
Cool.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you are trying to follow her, then would you please roll to act under fire?
I don't like this rule, Mr. Steven.
But it's plus hard. Oh no, it's plus cool.
It's
Sorry.
yeah. I'm like no. All right, but it does give me XP. So and I rolled a 10.
So last game, Emberly was like single-handedly responsible for the entire town blowing to shit.
Yeah.
And this time she's just like nailing every roll. So like you totally follow Winkle as she goes off to talk to someone else. And you get like through a couple of sort of rings of cars, and she hops, like clambers up one stack of cars and then slides into the window. And that's the last you see of her. What are you going to do?
All right. I'm going. Is there another vantage point that I can get to that I can still see through?
Yeah, you
wherever
could
they're
try
at?
to like climb up on top of some of the nearby cars and try to look down either behind or around or into the cars that she...
All right. I'm going to try to do that, and I'm also going to try to make sure that I'm not like visible. To other
Okay.
people.
Yeah, it's no problem. You're able to, I mean, like, the entire town is basically completely dark. There's not really any lights on anywhere. You clamber up on top of some of the cars, and you manage to see, like, a dim glow coming up from sort of underneath, like a pile of cars over the next ridge. And also, you can see now over the walls of the town. And you do see, like, very distant out in the junk wastes to the south, you see like a couple of lights moving back and forth, just sort of like cresting ridges and then disappearing again, just sort of moving, but steadily seem to be moving in your direction.
Okay.
So we've got
And-
this sort of collection of cars over the next ridge of cars that it's like they're all sort of piled together, and there's a little bit of like glowing light coming out from inside of them. What do you do?
Can I not hear anything that, like any discussion that they're having?
You're too far away because you're like on top of another row of cars, and like there was, in ahead of you, probably 20 feet away, is the stack of cars that Winkle slid into. And then beyond that, you're able to see this pile of cars. So you can't really hear anything, unfortunately.
And I can't get close enough to hear.
You could go closer. For sure.
I want to try to go closer to hear.
All right. Yeah.
The look on your face. I'm afraid.
You should be. You manage to like get over close to the cars, and you start hearing like murmuring of voices from inside, and it sounds like a good number of voices. And thinking back, like 30 people died, right, in Paradise. And there were probably like 20 people or so in the marketplace that when you guys were all hanging out there. And that kind of leaves like 20 or so people uncounted for in Paradise. So you hear the murmur of voices. If you want to get close, you think you can probably get closer and hear what they're talking about and maybe even see in, but you're definitely going to be doing it under fire.
All right. I'm going to like take a deep breath, lean up against this car. I'm going to fidget with my bracelet a little bit before I go ahead.
Cool. Give me
So I
that that open your brain roll.
All right. Please. Please be with me. Dice gods. 8.
Okay, not too
It's
bad.
not terrible, but
Yeah. Let me see. I give you an impression of something new and interesting about this situation. Okay, you open your brain and you fiddle with your bracelet, and as you stand there in the chilly night air and in the darkness, you see like the stars brighten and shine and catch fire, and they all fall down to earth around you. And one of them forms the shape of like a fist with a huge sort of like appendage on the back of it, and it falls and it sticks down upright in the earth, and it's like in the engine block of a car, and like it almost looks like a glowing sword that fell from heaven and embedded itself in the rock of this like car engine. And someone steps up and like grabs onto it and pulls it out, and that's when your vision cuts out. And you hear like this carousing roar of laughter from inside.
Damn it, Bubba. That's like what I say under my breath.
Awesome.
All right. I'm going to slowly move, and this is going to be a little stressful because I get no bonus to this.
Ooh.
Okay. So, yeah, you can. Okay. Things have been going pretty smoothly for Emberly this evening. She's feeling like things are finally going her way. So as you're climbing up this pile of cars, you slip on like a loose metal plate, and it goes clattering off down the sides, and you hear like a couple of voices sort of cry out. You hear one of them shout, Daff, is that you? Hey, Daff, you back? And you hear someone coming out, and you know that if you stay where you are, and from where you are, you have like both enough of a crack that you can sort of listen through, and you can even catch a glimpse inside. You see like a number of people standing around. There's a fire burning in there. But you know that you can't stay where you are. You can move and probably sort of like hide yourself in amongst some cars somewhere, and you can get to a place where either you can hear or you can see. Which are you going to prioritize?
I'm going to prioritize hearing.
Okay.
Hearing.
You clamber up over a couple of pieces of rubble, a couple of wheel wells, and you sort of snug yourself down and pull like a wheel on top of yourself. It feels pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy wheel. But like someone comes out and you hear very much more clearly, Daff! Ah, God, that fucker, Jesus. Couldn't do anything right. And he turns around and he just like stomps back inside. And you press your ear to the panel of the car that you're lying on top of, and it sounds like your panel like connects directly to the interior. You can actually hear very clearly. And you hear like a woman's voice, and after a second or two of listening, you think it might be Corbett. And she's saying, Shazza, what are we gonna do now? What are you planning on doing? And you hear a man's voice, and he says, Betsy, baby, we're gonna take this town by storm. We're gonna fill the world with the light of Lord Junior. Praise be unto his name. And you hear like a whole bunch of people shout, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And you hear like another person say, but what about Bubba, Shazza? Shazza says, you know what? Not too worried about Bubba. Someone else says, why is that, Shazza? And Shazza says, because, ladies and gentlemen, lords and ladies, we have been given a gift from Lord Junior himself. A gift from Lord Junior made by the hand of Fuse, the town's mechanic. And you hear like everybody just sort of gasp, and you hear someone say, what is it? And Shazza says, well, I don't rightly know the mystery of this Juniorite artifact, but it fell from the sky, and now we have it in our grasp. And someone else says, and that's going to help us with Bubba? And Shazza says, no. You know what? You're going to help us with Bubba. I need you to go out there and make sure that Bubba isn't a problem. And you hear this man say, yes, Shazza, praise be to Lord Junior.
All right, I'm going to focus in on that voice.
Yeah.
And where he's walking, and
Okay.
try to follow him if he leaves the group. But if not, then I'm going to continue listening to the group. But I'm going to hone in on that guy specifically.
Okay. No, he's definitely like peeling off and walking away, but he stops talking. So you like you hear someone moving away from the group, but you don't you just hear footsteps, and the talking inside keeps going on. People are talking about random stuff.
Which way did I hear the footsteps, and where did his voice trail off?
Oh man, maybe you heard them going towards the north, which is the opposite side of this mound of cars that you guys are on. But
All right.
as you uncover yourself from your hiding spot, why don't we find out what the hell is up with Evan?
All right.
Well, so when Daff went up to the tower, seeing as he was by himself, I
Yeah.
want to follow up and have a little chat with him.
Okay. Yeah, you follow him
Yeah.
without any real problem.
Follow him up. We see the lights from the distance, and I mean, with the bewildered look in his eyes, I grab one of the grenades from my pack, and I just kind of like have it in my hand, and I put my arm around Daff, and
Yeah.
he kind of looks at me like, what the hell are you doing? And
That's what he does.
I kind of dangle the grenade there a little bit by the pin even,
Yeah.
and say, Daff, I feel like you're up to no good, and we're gonna have a talk here, me, you, and this grenade right here, and you're gonna answer a few questions for me.
Daff says, what the fuck are you doing, man? Put that shit away. You're going to kill us both. God damn. Jesus Christ. And he
I
like tries
very
to
well-
grab the grenade.
I very
Right.
well might kill us both.
Okay. And then what do you do?
Well, I'm gonna I want to grab him and start questioning him.
All right. Go roll for Seize by Force.
Okay.
Whoop. I wonder when that happened.
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
Nice.
You just like
That's
grab
epic.
him around the neck and like rub the grenade in his face. Do you want to choose these options?
For what do you mean, for taking control?
For Seize by Force. Because you were grabbing him. So you have.
Yeah. I'm going to take definite hold of it. Hopefully
Okay, wait.
frighten my enemy.
Before you choose your third one, I want to make
Yes.
it clear. When you suffer little harm, it
Right.
means you don't take much damage.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, obviously I want to suffer little harm in case anything goes wrong.
Okay. Yeah, no, you just like grab him and actually like you manage to like put your fingers in the trigger lock or the trigger guard of his sniper rifle, and he's like mashing the trigger as hard as he can, and it's like slamming against your finger and it hurts like a bitch, but it doesn't do anything and the gun doesn't go off. So you've got him where you want him. What do you want to do now?
Daff, what the fuck is going on in this town?
He says, I don't know. Lord Junior's going to protect us. He's going to save us all. Please, let go of me.
Daff, I know that Shaz is up to no good, but what I need to know is if my friends are in danger.
Yes, of course your friends are in danger. God, what the fuck? Of course they're in danger. I was sent out here to kill Emberly, but I couldn't get a clear shot.
You were sent out here to kill Emberly.
Yes.
Oh. I want to loosen my grip a little bit and say, we actually might have something in common, Daff.
Yeah, he sort of like he sort of like escapes from your grip and sort of like pats himself down. He's sitting there like puffing and wheezing. He's not the most in shape guy. He's like, oh yeah, in common.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind dispatching of Emberly as well. But who gave you this? Who gave you this order?
Well, Daff gets like this really different look on his face, and he says, "These orders, Evan, they come from the Lord Junior himself, little baby Lord Junior, not that grown-up Lord Junior,
Daff.
little 8-pound, 6-ounce Lord Junior, sitting in a manger."
Daff, I've got something else from Lloyd Jr. I fucking take that pin, grab that grenade, shove it right down his pants, and I want to push that motherfucker over the wall.
All right, roll another Seize by Force.
All right, let's do it.
I
Let's
can't
do
wait
it.
for this to be a 1.
He's going over.
Oh.
11, yes!
Oh my
Yes!
gosh.
Okay,
That is
yeah.
epic.
You grab that grenade and shove it into his mouth, and you feel his jaw crunch
Wait, no, his
with
mouth?
like a.
No, this was I into his pants.
Yeah, he
Steven,
said
like,
pants.
Oh,
fucking
okay.
pulled
Right
the
in the
belt
balls.
in there. Yeah.
balls.
Then over.
Yeah, no, you just like totally toss him over. And as you walk away, you do not look back as the skyline behind you erupts in a roaring explosion
I
that
light a
shatters some
cigarette.
of the windows right around you. There's like glass shrapnel flying past you as you just like stalk your way back towards the center of town. Now,
That's
Bubba,
Nuts.
you're out in the
Literally.
middle of town, sitting in this wheelbarrow high as a kite.
Yeah.
And you're with who were you with? You were
Twice
with
and Zilia.
Zilia and Twice. Yes. What are you doing, Bubba?
I recognize that it's them.
Yes.
I'm not that high. I just kind of like look up, I guess because they're behind the wheelbarrow, and I'm just kind of like moving my head back and forth trying to look behind me. And I see that it's Twice. And then I just kind of like stare at her. I'm like, "Hey, Twice."
She says, "Hey, Bubba.
Twice, how the fuck are you alive?
She says, "Well, when that infected man ran inside, he started chewing on Kettle's face. And because I was in the back, I heard her screaming. So I went and hid in one of Kettle's kit lockers. And I just stayed hiding in there until the ambulance stopped moving."
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of I sit up a little bit in the wheelbarrow and I turn to the left. And what's this other person's name?
Zilia, but you can call her Batty.
Yeah, people are calling her Batty.
Okay. I turn up. I'm like, and who the fuck are you?
Zilia sort of looks at you. She says, "Well, I'm a writer. I'm a record keeper in Paradise, and I've been keeping records of births and deaths, and crops and trades, and well, I guess I just always kind of admired Emberly. So when she came knocking for people to answer her call, a couple of us went, and I was one of them. What's it to you?"
Just wondering why the fuck you're standing next to me is all, but now it all makes sense. He turns back around, or like sits forward again and turns to his right, and he's like, "Hey, Twice, you want to do me a favor?"
Twice like runs over to the wheelbarrow, and she puts her hand on your shoulder, and she says, "Oh, Bubba, what is it?"
Can you get me into the crane?
And she sort of deflates just a little bit. She says, "Yeah, of course. Yeah. Zilia, can you help me with this?" And like they sort of like roll your wheelbarrow over towards the crane, and like Twice opens the door, and like someone just sort of like jumps out of it, like down, like landing on the wheelbarrow. And Tum Tum looks down at you and he says, "Oh, Mr. Bubba, how nice to see you again. How are you?"
I was wondering when you'd show up again. I'm good. Can I get downstairs? Is it still good down there?
Tum Tum sort of looks at you and he says, "Mr. Bubba, you look a little bit high."
He's like, "Well, yes, I am quite fucked up right now. I would still like to go downstairs, though."
As you may recall, the crane has moved location. There is no downstairs beneath us at the moment, Mr. Bubba. Would you like to go to where there is a downstairs?
Well, that damn fuse was pretty smart. Yeah, I would love to go over there. Do you know where it's at?
I absolutely do, Mr. Bubba. Come inside. And like, Twice and Zilia help you up. And by now, like, you've sort of gotten everything straightened out. You feel like you can stand. You're a little bit high still. And you can get into the crane, and Tum Tum just sort of like pushes a couple buttons, pulls a couple levers, starts it revving up. Wow. So, Evan,
Yes.
as you're walking away from this explosion, and Bubba, you hear this from far, far away.
Evan's walking like a badass, and there's explosions behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the magnet of the crane just sort of shudder and start swiveling around, and you see it start moving off in another direction. What do you do?
And at this point, the crowd is pretty much dispersed. Like, there's not any more.
Well, you're
of a
not
threat
actually
there.
back to the center of town yet. So where you
I
are,
just
there's
see
not a
it
whole
coming.
lot of people.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
yeah,
see
I
the
want
crane.
to start heading towards the crane. Then what the fuck is going
Okay.
on here?
Yeah, awesome. You start heading towards where the crane is going, and you actually end up you're familiar enough with the layout of the town by now that you realize it's moving over towards where Fuse's house used to be. It's moving back towards its original spot. Emberly, you man, I feel like there's got to be a roll for this. Would you roll weird
Man, what am I rolling weird for?
to see if you can find
secret.
this guy who's like walking away inside this room of people?
Oh yeah.
Like
and you're
weird,
trying to follow him.
Wouldn't that be sharp?
Yeah, but like he's not really making any noise you can hear
Yeah.
over
that's true.
the stuff inside.
You always got -1. I'm crying. Okay, let's see.
Dun dun dun.
Da-da-da-da. Oh my god! No!
Perfect.
Oh, it's amazing.
Perfect.
I love how one bad roll can just make everything get fucked up.
Okay, Emberly. You get yourself on top of this mound of cars, and you're heading in the direction that you think this guy was heading, but
I was
instead,
gonna get on top of the cars and look for him. Way to ruin it, Steven. Way to ruin it.
well, that's what you're doing, right? You're getting on top of the car so you can look for this guy. But the movement of the crane against the skyline just completely distracts you. And you hear from behind you, you hear a voice. And it's the same voice you heard inside, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing up there? Get down here. Come on, get inside. What are you doing?" What do you do?
Same voice as the one I'm trying to stalk?
Yes. And he's
Okay.
behind.
Sure. I'm gonna kind of grab my knife
Okay.
and hold it behind me
Okay.
and come down.
Okay. You take a couple steps towards him, and his face just like you get close enough towards where you can see him, and you can see each other through the gloom of the twilight.
Yeah.
And his face just drops, and he grabs behind him and pulls out a pistol and points it straight in your direction. What do you do?
I'm gonna bum rush him and try to stab him.
All right. Seize by force.
Okay. Please don't make me roll another 3. I need
You get
to
bonuses
live.
to your seize by force.
I
I'd be
do?
surprised if you rolled a 3. Well, it's plus hard, right?
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah.
5. Oh my
Oh
life.
my god. Oh,
Holy
Emberly.
shit.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Okay.
I was gonna be a
Like-
badass.
Oh.
This pistol just roars with a massive explosion. And it turns out it's that pistol that Evan Masters had.
Oh.
I know
And,
that pistol. Well, I thought it was
this
a handgun, but
this is Chin, and it deals you 3 harm. So that's reduced by 1 for your armor and 1 for your gang. So you only take 1 harm, but also roll. Oh, that actually crosses 9 o'clock for you, doesn't it?
yeah,
Again.
I'm freaking
Ooh.
messed up.
Okay. So
This may be where Amberly ends her life.
roll
no.
2d6 plus 1 for the harm's move against you.
I
Watch.
assume
I'm
you
gonna
did
roll
reload
like
it, right?
I'm gonna roll like the highest thing ever possible. Watch. Oh, okay.
Oh my God, Emily!
Crush.
Holy shit!
Crush.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yay.
My life is
Don't
saved.
die.
In all
Literally-
fairness, your rolls this evening have been amazing.
Yes,
pretty
Except
much.
for that one.
Let's see here.
I was hoping
Okay,
I'd like
harm
do a
and
barrel
healing.
roll and slash his throat, but nope.
Yes, you miss noticing something important. So actually, so the way this works is you don't actually suffer the harm until we decide what the role of the harm's move against you means. So what he did was he like fired this huge explosive shot at you, but he was not prepared for the massive recoil of this huge weapon. And it just like ricocheted off of a couple of cars before like thunking into your shoulder. It didn't deal you any damage, but you were like kind of cowed by this. And so you take no damage. You're still at 9 o'clock. And he starts advancing on you. And he's like pulling back the hammer, and you can hear it like you hear the next round slide into place with a menacing click. And you hear a voice shout from back behind him, and it's a woman's voice. And she shouts, "You stop right there, Chin, you motherfucker!" And you hear this chink of a shotgun. Now, he's still coming straight in your direction. What do you do?